hey, this, that, the other. And I love it because I just enjoy, just hanging with you, talking and, laughing and
And I think, as we talk, I realize that I think the core of any relationship is intimacy. When you
yeah.
think about your friendships, when you think about your relationship with your family, when you think about your relationship with God, so
Yeah.
the whole point of a relationship is to really get to know that other person and to study that other person and just really get connected to them. And so the more you know about that other person, the more you experience with that other person, I think the trust builds, the confidence builds, the
Everything.
security
Yeah,
builds.
everything gets
Like,
the benefit of it.
so it's super important, but I think it's important in all relationships and definitely marriage. Um, definitely, and as we were talking, it starts with our relationship with God, because you're describing what you were going through in that time, and I'm thinking about what I was going through in that time. And in both of those cases, I know for me, for sure, it was getting closer to God, and less about what my flesh wanted or what my body wanted, and more about what my future and my purpose needed,
And you get
like,
tired. You get that whole dating rat race and, you know, um, like going on 51st dates. You know what I mean? You get burnt out on it because I felt like I had a um, desire to be intimate with somebody. I had a desire to be um, just special to someone, special, important. And I wasn't getting that. It was like, it wasn't in knowing me because as much as I want to be like, I'm not. I am complex. I like a variety of things. But then on one hand, I am steadfast loyal to some stuff. I'm gonna order the same meal the same way, So it's this mixing pot of a person, but no, the dating situation, nobody was really understanding that combination. Look, I love poetry, I love books, an actual book, you know what I mean, and I just had just all of these different
but I
folds to
also
me.
like that Houston trap.
I do like some
That
UGK. That's besides the point. But I am a mixture of a person, and in our friendship, you took time to acknowledge that person. Like Heather Headley, you bought me a Heather Headley. Where is Heather Headley? Bought me one of her CDs, and just really, you just took interest in that. Like I had a CD, don't know one word in French, don't know one word, but I had a CD, it was all in French. And it was a good CD, but I didn't know one single word. But just this mix, just this person that just really appreciated so many different facets of life. And so it really took a mate for me that was just as eclectic. You know what I mean? And that's how Shelton is. And no offense to anybody that I dated, but he's just such a, I mean, he actually is more eclectic than me. He just towers over me as far as vision is concerned. Like just his sight for things. So that was intriguing to me, right? Good looking, he was much thinner and used to wear clothes that was like two times the size, but that's besides the point. And he had muscles, but I was confused. Like, how you so thin? But anyways, but just intelligent. Like I say, he still surprises me today with something. And I'm like, when did, I'm with him every day. When did you have time to read that? You know what I mean? When did you have time to, but just so intelligent. It's like he just draws out, more wisdom. And I'm like, wow, some stuff, being like very serious, some stuff he's told me, it's changed my life. Like the way I was thinking about something, he just said some, very personal things. And, I literally changed the way I seen it from that point forward. You know what I'm saying? So, but I didn't know any of that. I know I was searching, but I just didn't see what looked like me in a certain way. And so, but then with him, just intelligent, like business minded. I love that, the thought is sexy to me. Like when you can think, you know what I'm saying? Like you can go places, you know what I mean? And so, but I didn't even know. It's just crazy because in retrospect, I didn't even know that that's what I was attracted to. You know what I mean? I didn't even know that that was what was a good fit for me. So for women who are like, just dating and you think this man, oh, he's boring or he's this or he's that. And you kind of got that, you kind of dealing with the same type of dude, the same, like, man, why always meet the ones that, this, and this, like he was somebody so different that wouldn't have initially caught my eye, but was the best thing for me. You know what I'm saying?
Why wouldn't I initially caught your eye?
For one, we were friends, so I didn't even look at you that way.
I did catch your eye the very first day when I walked in with some Timberlands and some and a jersey on and a briefcase.
That, but not for the way you think you caught my eye. I was like, look at this bozo. What he doing here with it? What you gonna do? You go stump the yard, or what you gonna do? You go give a
both.
Okay.
Eclectics.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's the perfect picture. So,
but to your point, I mean, even from a man's standpoint, I think I had a type, for the most point of a person that I was looking for, and a lot of that type didn't really necessarily challenge me to do more than what I was doing, or challenge me to be different.
Yeah.
And so, it wasn't until, and that's why I think, I prescribe that and definitely recommend that a person really gets to know themselves first.
Yes.
Because then it becomes very clear. Like,
what you don't want.
I mean, doing that, and I don't knock people getting married like right out of high school or right out of college or anything, but I'm assuming that becomes very difficult because as people,
still
what I mean, we're changing. Like,
still changing.
I'm not who I was when I was in my early 20s. I'm not who I was in my early 30s. I'm not who I was when I first turned 40. So it's this constant changing. And then to do that with someone else that's changing, along the way, is
Which is why intimacy is important, because the changes can't be happening outside of each other. They got to be going simultaneous. Like, as you're changing, I got to keep getting to know you. You're right. Yeah. You were 27, and then, at 37, you're a different person. At 47, you're a different person. And so I love you enough to keep getting to know you, like a repeat of being reintroduced, and just keep falling in love. Because I mean, the truth of the matter is there's points in our relationship where I wasn't doing that. I was kind of going through my own stuff, when I lost my dad, I just was a zombie. I wasn't doing nothing. I wasn't changing. I wasn't doing, and here it is, I have a family and things are still progressing. You're still having a way you feel about things. And I'm just here at a stop, and this wheel over here is moving and we're just not making any traction. So I remember us having and again, that friendship is a lifeline, because that honesty conversation, I may cry and I may not like what I'm hearing, but that honesty is the thing that I can respect truth. You know what I'm saying? And I can decide what to do with it. I could decide to accept it at that time, or I need a little bit more time. But you were very honest in that part of our relationship where we were struggling intimately, you know what I mean? Where we're not really spending time, we're not really communicating, we're not really continuing that falling in love process over and over again. We weren't doing any of that. And so I remember it, I don't remember what year that was, but I remember our anniversary that year. We did like just something symbolic between us where we rededicated ourselves to each other. And it was the thing that, it's like, okay, if you don't get yourself together, you may lose this situation right here, and I love him enough to work on me. And so, but intimacy was that link, you know what I'm saying? It was the thing that, and believe it or not, I wanted it too. It's kind of like, well, who's going to be the one to, initiate it, or come up with the answer. We're very aware of what the problem is, but neither one of us has kind of made that step. Sometimes you're on board and I'm not. Then sometimes I'm on board and you're not. You know what I mean? It was just like not catching the groove together. And you say it the best. I like the way you say it about, just making deposits every day, making a deposit into your relationship. And in the tough times, that's the only way you could really make a withdrawal. It's based on those daily deposits. But if you're not making it, I think it's Joyce Myers who said, you could water a plant and it'll give the appearance that it's still growing, but each day it's actually withering because it's not being fed. So by the time you see the effects of it, it's not that you just didn't feed it that day. You've been neglected it. You know what I mean? And so I liken that to, she was talking about something else, but I liked it from the standpoint of marriage because you got to feed it every day. It can't be this second thought. And I'm guilty of it. I'm too tired today. I'm sleepy, babe. Let me go to sleep. But it's something that you have to make conscious, willing, loving deposits in every day, because tough times do come in marriage, i.e., like I mentioned, my dad passing, and that was very difficult. That was very heavy to navigate. I had never experienced, losing a parent, and I was married, this was happening while I was married.
Intimacy is intentional.
It is.
And not just talking about the physical part, but just the getting to know a person part. You got to be very intentional with it. Like the conversations have to be intentional. Like I see people who can, be in a house together all the time, like, and not be connected. Like they're around each other, but they're not getting to know each other. Right. So that tells me that it has to be an intentional, like, planned thing. Like what kind of questions, what kind of things are you asking? Are you trying to find out about that person? What kind of situations are you trying to set up with that person to get them to know it? A lot of relationship people, when they're talking to guys, are saying like the physical part, the sex part of intimacy for women, for example, starts all day, starts earlier in the day. It doesn't start at that moment where you want to. So, are you flirting with your wife throughout the day? Are you, letting her know you're thinking about her, or how you think about her?
Right.
All of that leads to, that maybe physical point of intimacy. But when I think about it, and I think the theme that I'm overhearing just in this conversation, which is actually even new for me, I think a new revelation is that the less physical part of intimacy probably is always going to lead to the physical connection of intimacy. Even though that's, as a man, that's what I think we want and we desire the most, or a lot of men want and desire the most, naturally. I think it all goes back to, there is a place where, the conversation, the communication,
right,
the openness, the trust, the level of connection, and the physical part is just kind of like the frosting, like the celebration of what we are learning or experiencing with each other. You know what I mean? And it's the championship. It's the the W at the end of the game. Like, you played hard all throughout the day, all throughout the week, all throughout the month. It's that touchdown to be like, this is I think we heard the guy that says that, to think about physical intimacy like a getaway, like where you get to go to the playground together and just enjoy one another.
And I can't wait for us to do our next over sex, like, our next topic over it, because I agree with that. Like, just we like, as a wife, I don't want to be measured like, oh, I better, this is a task. I better, better do this. But in the presence of intimacy, I want to do it. You know what I'm saying? I feel, I feel close to you. I feel like, oh, it's happening, And so it is a thing of the gateway of, I'm having a hard day at work, which every day is like, like, oh my gosh. And so I'll get a text from you, or you'll call me, your morning call, did you make it to work okay? Everything okay? And you'll say something so, quirky, funny, and it'll just tickle me, because I'm in a place where I can't talk, like I can't even respond to what he said, and so, but it just sets my day, and it sets it actually builds like it's like the foreplay, like it's like, I can't wait to get home. Like, that's the thing that's making me want to get back to him. You know what I mean? But like on a day where it's not present, I'm just kind of doing my task type things. And so he'll have this way where he'll, just kind of give me a little flirt, just kind of, kind of nudge your girl a little bit. And then I'm like, ooh, and it is just between him and I, so that intimate thing where it's like, a joke, we're laughing, but it's just the two of us that, are part of that. And so it makes it special at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel that it's a billion beautiful women in the world, but when it comes to with him, I feel like he's got eyes for me, like I'm his boo, and he makes me feel special in that way. So I don't feel that what he's sharing with me, I know he's not sharing with Block, he's not for the streets. Everybody's not getting it. And so it's this reciprocity that's taking place. He taking care of me, I'm taking care of him, and none of that feels like a chore. I feel that it's just goodness all the way around. Like, we both, we're both getting what we need. And sometimes even more, because like I say, there's times where I'm vocal about everything, and then it's like feast of famine. Then the next day it's like, he's like, what's on your mind? Nothing. I want to talk, and so, but I get to have this soundboard. I get to have this, access, I think is the word that's coming to me. I got access to you. I got access to your heart. And it's beautiful. It's not guarded. You know what I mean? It's not a limit on what I can talk to him about, or it might be some stuff, because I done got mad a few times at the end of last year where I was like, look, I'm not arguing with nobody in 2023. And I came to him to talk about it and I know this man tired of hearing about it, but it was just like, he got me. And he kicked some wisdom to me that kicked me in the teeth. And I'm like, you're so smart. Why did I tell you about this? But the intimacy, I think what a great topic. I could really go on and on about it, because I've grown probably so much, and I struggled just as well in this area. So, babe,